Monday, the 12th day of June 2023. Hello there and welcome from me, Rukidi Kijjanangoma, to News Tonight here on UBC TV. We're coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. First though, let's have a look at what's making headlines at this hour. In our top stories tonight, many flock to State House to wish President Museveni quick recovery. Campaigns for Bukedea LC5 by-elections closed tonight ahead of the Wednesday voting. Police suspends 13 officers for unprofessional conduct during operation on Sheikh Yunus Kamuga's residence. And in sports, Special Olympics team flagged off to Berlin for World Special Olympics game. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, Minister of State for Kampala, Chofa Togabye, and other political leaders in Kampala City have convened at State House Nakasero to pray and wish the president quick recovery after he declared himself to have tested positive for COVID-19. The president's principal private secretary, Dr. Omona Kenneth, appreciated the team for expressing solidarity to the president and pledged to deliver the card with the messages to him. Take a watch.
The head of state, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, lately acquired COVID-19, which has led him into isolation at his home at Nakasero State House, where his personal medical team is monitoring his health condition to ensure he gets back on his feet soon. A number of people in different capacities have wished him a quick recovery on different platforms. The Minister of State for Kampala, Chofa Togabye, led a team of well-wishers from Kampala City with a card wishing the President a quick recovery, which was delivered to the Principal Private Secretary to the President at State House, Nakasero.
The grandchildren could not rest, hoping that following what had happened, and they are together with the President. So the message is simple. We want to inform our president that we are together with you as the people of Kampala, as the people of the downtown city. So we shall be together in good and bad.
The president's principal private secretary, Dr. Omona Kenneth, appreciated the team for the solidarity with the president and pledged to deliver the card with the messages to him.
Of the president and his family, we, with a lot of gratitude, accept your gesture of wishing the president good health. We thank you very much for expressing this spirit of the African people, the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of Daramakwo, the spirit of Karachel, the spirit of unity, and we are really overwhelmed.
A number of well-wishers wrote messages wishing the president a quick recovery and messages of hope to the president. Members of the public who are concerned and worried about the president's health condition also expressed love through messages.
That we got an opportunity of Mzee telling us that he's sick. Honestly, like any other human beings, we decided to come here and wish him a get well soon.
There are very many things he can do than that person in his seat.
Call upon our Lord Jesus and God to help him and recover very soon.
Jane Nyaramcha reporting for UBC.
Now, in a related development, ghetto drivers, border riders, village chiefs turned up at State House Nakasero to express solidarity with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni over his health status. They hailed President Yoweri Museveni's contribution to Uganda's peace, security and welfare.
People from various parts of the country have flocked State House Nakasero to express solidarity with President Yoweri Museveni. The president is in isolation after being diagnosed with COVID-19. The ghetto leaders started the march from their offices in Usafi Park and marched to State House Nakasero.
Bulambo President n'amakulu go tugenda kutambula tugende ku State House.
Twagala nnyo tukukkiririzaamu nnyo tukwagaliza obulamu tukwagala oli mulamu.
Jjajja ghetto President Kaguta Museveni tukwagala kubbala nga wasalawo okutambula naffe ate ffe otumanyi tuli baana ba bbala.
Rubaga RCC Anderson Bulola, Nansana RCC Shafik Subuga, ghetto leaders in the country, former Gomba MP Kato Chabanji, NRM village chairpersons in Kampala carried out sympathy messages to the president through Assistant President Kenneth Omona.
The spirit of Dharma, the spirit of Marshall, the spirit of unity, and
they also put up signs in sympathy with the president, and there was a signing by the visitors. RCC Anderson Bulola and RCC Shafik Subuga explained the visit.
Allah baba jitaddeko lera akamogo fabana bagatuza kwebaka kubaye kayeka yakavayo natulwanirira yakavayo natulaga naffe tuli bantu.
So lero tubadde tumuweereza essaala z'abanna Uganda abasobodde okuva gye bavudde nga bamwagaliza okuba nga awona obulungi, era ze tumuweereza ezibadde ku baana zagenda okulaba amanye nti wadde ali mu isolation newankubadde tali ku ndiri naye waliwo abamusabira waliwo abamwagaliza okuba obulungi ebweru.
Ghetto leaders led by Kalyango Shafik told UBC that it was important to sympathize and convey their message to the president.
We started to organize our ghettos through Major MI so our request is when he comes in life, in normal life, to look into our issues because he knows they don't have jobs and others. And it's the person who have seen who can understand our issues.
The NRM chairpersons in Kampala, led by Ntanzi, said the president had done a lot for the country.
President yakabera mu buyinza Salomo Mukaga kwetu kifuna kunti yali alwadde n'olwego twafunye ekyeka nga tuli anti mukama waffe alwadde kwe kwagala tujje twegatteko ng'omulwadde bwalambulwa omuzzaamu ku maanyi kyekituleese wano.
Komagum Rogers and Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
And indeed, we wish President Yoweri Museveni a quick recovery because the country still needs him. Now, police have suspended 13 of its officers due to their unprofessional conduct during the raid on Sheikh Yunus Kamoga's residence, which was suspected of housing an illegal rehabilitation center in Kawempe Tula. As a result of the operation, at least 17 individuals out of the 45 unlawfully found at the center have been successfully reunited with their parents.
A recent video recording has surfaced showing individuals in plain clothes and police officers physically assaulting individuals in Kawempe Tula. The incident took place at an alleged rehabilitation center owned by Sheikh Yunus Kamoga. The officers reportedly entered the facility by jumping over the fence as numerous padlocks were discovered at the entrance.
And while at the premises, our officers were denied entry initially for unknown reasons, which prompted a break-in and an entry.
The police had received information about the presence of an illegal training center at the location.
You are all aware that our police officers responded to complaints from parents whose children went missing from schools and homes and were traced to the alleged rehabilitation center.
Although the raid was authorized by the police, the manner in which the operation was conducted has faced widespread criticism. 13 officers involved in the incident have been suspended.
And they are scheduled to appear before the disciplinary court. They also remain under investigation for torture and aggressive behavior, pending retrieval of the medical forms that we issued to the victims. But as the joint security agencies will remain committed to investigating all instances of torture or civil rights violations against all Ugandans.
Following the incident, Sheikh Yunus Kamoga has allegedly disregarded the summons issued by the police regarding the accusations of operating an illegal rehabilitation center.
To give us a statement indicating circumstances under which the rehabilitation center was created and whether they have an operating license and how they were mobilizing these children from different parts of the country, including some from Congo and even Rwanda.
At least 17 individuals out of the 45 found unlawfully at the center have been reunited with their parents. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Thanks, Kawa, for that story there. Now, the Parliamentary Forum on Labour, Decent Employment and Productivity has called upon the President to consider the minimum wage bill for the betterment of the employment environment in the country. The forum, to be launched Tuesday this week, is going to focus, among other things, employment gaps, including amendment of acts like the Compensation Act and Employment Act.
Or to reactivate the wages, like the minimum wage that has almost failed us.
In 2019, Parliament passed the minimum wage bill, which set a minimum of 130,000 as the lowest amount that an employer can offer their employees. The same bill had been passed by Parliament in 2015, but later returned by the President. The minimum wage bill, among others, was intended to address the salary disparities and exploitation of employees by their employers. However, even after amendment of some clauses in 2019, the bill was passed but has since not received the presidential assent.
The other time when it went through Parliament, it was only assented to, and what can we do to make it better?
We would like to effectively undertake a key role in legislating on issues relating to labor, employment and productivity.
According to Roland Ndiomjenye, there is still a missing link in the labor industry which has not completely been addressed by the available laws and policies. As the chairperson of the Parliamentary Forum on Labor, Decent Employment and Productivity, he says their main focus is going to be drafting of policies that will bridge the employment gaps, including amendment of acts like the Compensation Act and the Employment Act.
Our strategic goal is to ensure that we have safe labor, especially people who are going abroad, especially employers who have a big workforce, to ensure that there is harmony. Externalization of labor is not clear. The people who are exporting them are not giving them proper guidelines.
Margaret Rabshaija is the workers' representative in Parliament. She says there is urgent need to reactivate and amend acts and laws to ensure conformity with the current employment demands. She also noted that the current labor demands and employment environment requires coherent laws, with some of the already available laws currently outdated.
We need a concrete bill specified looking at those issues.
The Parliamentary Forum on Labour, Decent Employment and Productivity is going to be officially launched on Tuesday this week. Susan Naong and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for ABC TV.
Democratic Change FDC party has asked government to consider human rights, human resource and equal opportunities while celebrating Heroes Day. The deputy spokesperson FDC, John Kikonyogo, says government needs to prioritize medical doctors and pay intern doctors instead of spending public funds on celebrations, as we hear in this story.
Government celebrated this year's Heroes Day from Luwero, where the war that brought the NRM party to power started. The FDC party says Luwero was one of the most developed districts before and now needs to be rehabilitated and reconstructed. FDC deputy spokesperson John Kikonyogo told the media that government should start programs for reconciling people of Luwero Triangle as it did in northern Uganda after the LRA insurgency.
Luwero wanted government to dole out some money. They wanted a good atmosphere so they make their own money. They could make their own money. Get them market, rehabilitate their area, they will sell their coffee. Compare the Luwero then and northern Uganda today. What they are doing in northern Uganda is reconstruction of the area. Reconstruction. In Luwero there is no reconstruction up to today.
Forum for Democratic Change is concerned over demonstrations by intern doctors after government failed to pay them.
Preserving human rights, one of the issues that took them to the bush. These heroes of ours. Are we developing our human resource? Pass a supplementary budget and you pay for those interns. There are not so many and they need very little money. The money they spent on these heroes there, I think, can even take all the interns into hospitals. We don't get our priorities right. The parliament should, even if it is not passed in this coming budget, if it's not there, they should put it there before it is read.
Meanwhile, FDC has threatened to take measures before elections and after sue the Electoral Commission over the candidature of Mary Akol in the Bukedea Local Council 5 by-elections. They allege submitted only a plain diploma certificate, not equivalent to A level. The spokesperson, Electoral Commission Paul Bukedea, says they have responded to Forum for Democratic Change's petition.
Prayer was that Madam Akol Mary be disqualified because she did not present the requisite academic papers for nomination as a candidate for the position of LC 5.
And we deliberated on the matter. And as a commission, we took a decision. We upheld the decision of the returning officer to nominate the said candidate, Mary Akol. And we communicated that decision on that very same day, the 9th of June 2023. This morning, the letter detailing our decision was picked by an official of BC. BC as a party, they are aware of our decision, and we gave them the basis for our decision. So it is not true that we've not responded.
The party sends its condolences to the family of the fallen Kato Lubwama, who they say was a patriotic Ugandan. I'm Navka Farida and Sana Anet at Kijjanangoma.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has paid tribute to former actor and legislator Paul Kato Lubwama, who passed away last week on Saturday. In his condolence message through the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, Mr. Museveni sent his condolences to the family and relatives of the deceased. Ivan Juko reports.
The body of former actor Paul Kato Lubwama arrived at the National Theatre in the morning for viewing of fellow actors. At National Theatre, Kato Lubwama's body was first taken inside the theatre auditorium. Some artists who were present at National Theatre eulogized the late for his contribution towards the music and the art fraternity.
Being one of a kind, and if during his lifetime you never picked a leaf from him, you never shared something with him, you may end up reaping nothing. Never been a selfish person. And with him it is Uncle Kato Lubwama, Nsaba kujja kuzanya, I want to come and perform with you. Hey, come. Yeah? I need a moment with you. He will be there. Now, if you don't take that opportunity to share with people like Kato Lubwama, now that he's gone, maybe you will go to his grave and say, Kato Lubwama, vaayo, ojja otubuulire wakikola ng'otya. And I can assure you, simanyi yo artist, ate bonna mbalabye, agenda kutuuka ku Kato Lubwama kyatuuseeko.
Inside the theatre, some theatrical skits and songs he composed and acted were played in his memory. The chief mourner was the Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja, who represented President General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. President Museveni, who is still in isolation due to COVID-19, sent his condolence message to the deceased's family.
Njagala okubatuusaako okukungubaga okuva owa President w'eggwanga Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Akimanyi nti mukwano gwe era mukwano gwaffe ffenna yagenda ng'ennaku z'omwezi 7. Mumanyi nga bwali ennaku zino, naye njagala okubagumya nti ali bulungi. Tuusaako okukungubaga. Byonna sali musale byakola wano abimanyi era yamutuma. And so ndi wano ku lwa gavumenti ya President Museveni. Era Kato Lubwama muzeeyi yamujjanjabako ettake. Lwakuba nti banaye tulina okukimanya. Era omuntu atakimanyi mumusaasira. Nti ffenna Kato gy'agenze ffenna liki? Ewaffe bagamba sekiriba kya ttaka. Atusooseeyo obusoosi ffenna gye tukola ki?
Prime Minister Nabbanja in her remarks appealed to the fraternity of musicians to put their association in order to get support from government.
Ekisembayo kye njagala okusaba ba artists, mbasaba okwagalana. Gavumenti yaffe eri ready okukola nammwe. We are ready to work with you irrespective of your political affiliation.
Nabbanja contributed 5 million shillings to help in the burial arrangements, while the patron of the Association of the Artists, General Salim Saleh, contributed 50 million shillings. Other actors and artists who attended the vigil had some messages to pass on about the deceased.
Kato Lubwama kyatuuseeko 7 days full house. We used to have this here. We are performing a play and we get full houses for a full week, and he's doing it when he's laying in state. Not anybody will get that. Not anybody can get it. So it means that losing such a gem is a great loss, not only to us, the still surviving artists, but to the coming generation.
Sejja kulima mukwano eddibu ddene nnyo kubanga ng'olese ffe ng'abayimbi ndoza buli kimu kyonna mwe mbadde mukikwata ebintu bingi nnyo byeteekamu amaanyi. Bannakatemba, baba n'ab'emizannyo, baba n'owuno mu politics, wuno buli kimu emikwano. Tuyinza okuba nga tugamba nti ffe industry ffe nga ffe ne Kato yatuzitoyeeko.
The body will remain at the National Theatre until Tuesday morning. From National Theatre, the body will leave to his ancestral home at Nkozi in Masaka district. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Meanwhile, members from the arts and culture sector have converged at the National Theatre to pay their last respects to fallen artist and politician Paul Kato Lubwama. Now, the body of the former Rubaga South Member of Parliament, who died last week, will lie at the theatre till Tuesday. A stage has been erected at the theatre where several artists performed as they celebrated the life of the fallen comedian. Gender Minister Betty Amongi and Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja earlier on joined mourners at the National Theatre. We'll now take a short break and return with much more. Do stay with us.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Buy Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best good business I teach you. But never come with the muscari. Because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's just you. What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry car.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu tere kitulema.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Barra and Jinja.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the GOAT. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy until it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. Her reason to imagine is finesse. And hers is to find what's new and bussin'. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me. And as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Guru, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Dear
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial *185*7*6# to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for Ugandan businesses. Between 2017 and 2022, 40% of the 3,800 procurements worth $4.4 billion were awarded to 460 Ugandan companies. This includes 41 community-based companies that have been awarded contracts worth $2.3 million. In order to be contracted to supply goods and services for oil activities in Uganda, entities must register on the National Suppliers Database. Over 2,300 entities are registered on the National Suppliers Database. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. My name is Rukidi Kijjanangoma. Now, more than 180 Congolese individuals have crossed the border into Uganda following an alleged attack by the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, on a village in Kasindi, the DRC. The attack resulted in a loss of lives, although the exact number of casualties is yet to be confirmed. In response to the incident, there have been reports of abductions, prompting the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, to actively pursue the attackers who are fleeing from the offensive launched by the UPDF in Ituri, the DRC.
The Congo ADF attacked a village. I think they killed some people, about between 5 and 10. And then the village swam into Uganda. So as I speak, about 180 people crossed the border into Kasindi, Ugandan side, running out from that attack. But we understand that these fellows could have headed to the national park, the Congolese National Park, and we are monitoring them. A force, I'm sure, is now pursuing these killers because they are trying to run away from Ituri because of the fire the EPDF has been putting on them, together of course with the FRDC colleagues. So the main issue now are the people who have run away, the displaced people who have come to seek refuge here.
At least 8 people were abducted. As the joint security agencies, we continue to maintain extra alertness at Mpondwe. As we talk, there is no threat to the communities at Mpondwe. So we want to assure our people there that the joint security agencies, the UPDF and the police continue to patrol our borderlines.
Around 10 this morning, the situation had returned to calm, to return to normal on the Congolese side, and so the asylum seekers chose to go back. They preferred to go back instead of being taken to a holding facility.
Police have linked 4 suspects to the murder of Mukisa Roni, a clerk attached to IBC advocates. The 4 suspects include a UPDF deserter from the 1st Battalion of Operation Shujaa and a police officer at the rank of superintendent.
Police have arrested a UPDF deserter from Operation Suja, along with Superintendent of Police Irama Vincent and 2 other individuals in connection with the shooting of Mukisa Roni, a clerk attached to IBC advocates.
Include Karedu Robert Irama, is a businessman, and his wife Naroga Brenda Kathy. We have Kopolo Anyuse Max Geoffrey, a UPDF deserter. He deserted from the 1st Battalion, Operation Shuja, and has been acting as a bodyguard, self-appointed bodyguard to Karedu. We also have SP, or Superintendent of Police, Irama Vincent, who is attached to Kampala Metropolitan North. So,
the UPDF corporal has confessed to committing the crime, revealing that he used a gun supplied by SP Irama Vincent.
And within 2 intervals, he shot. As he was leaving, returned and shot again. So the 4 bullets killed the victim instantly. And we've established that as Corporal Nyuse got away on a waiting motorcycle, he called Naroga Brenda and informed her how they had accomplished the mission.
It is alleged that the officers and the victim were known to each other and had a business disagreement.
They had a number of business dealings and representations. However, they developed a business conflict which triggered the plot to murder.
During the arrest of Chiledu, a businessman and wife in Kulambiro, police recovered 2 AK-47 magazines containing 52 rounds of ammunition with 8 bullets missing. A military fatigue was found at the scene.
So our task team proceeded to Kawempe, where they arrested Superintendent Irama. A search at his known premises led to the recovery of a pistol, which is official. And we also recovered an AK-47 rifle with 30 bullets. We noticed that 2 bullets had been newly replaced, so we are also interrogating him on where the 2 bullets. He has to give accountability for that.
This incident has occurred amidst heated debate on the misuse of firearms by officers who are tasked with protecting Ugandans. Komagum Rogers and Ivan Kawa, UBC News.
To the courts of law now, where the International Crimes Division of the High Court has ordered the Attorney General and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to file a response to the application in which members of Parliament Muhammad Segirinya and Aloysius Sewanyana are seeking to hold their trial on terrorism charges. Let's have more in this story.
The accused in the murder of Maria Nagirinya and her driver Ronald Chitaimbwa are still giving their defense in that trial, presided over by Judge Isaac Muwata at High Court Criminal Division in Kampala. The accused Kasoloko Priam informed court that he has failed to agree with the court registrar's means on how to summon his witnesses in court.
Nagira nakubaye kirango kimu oba mu New Vision nayita abantu owekitibo omulamuzi nenda banga tekijja kunkolera kubanga abantu simanyi bawuliriza radio ki TV ki yesonga lwaki nayinjagala okulanga zonna nga bwe nalinzi wadde kooti.
Kasole is now left with only his co-accused Johnson Lubega as his witness. In court, the accused Katelega Sadat gave his defense, informing court that he was a friend to Kasoloko Priam until 2006.
Kati mu mwaka gwa 2011 saddamu kumulaba naddamu kumulaba mu mwaka gwa 2016 bwe nali nkwatibwa police operation nga bantadde ku musango gwe nali simanyi nga bantuteruzira apapri kwe kusangayo Kasoloko Priam.
Katelega claims to have separated with Kasoloko Priam in 2013 until 2016 when they met in Luzira prison, but he denies the kidnap and murder of Maria Nagirinya and his driver.
Owekitiibwa omulamuzi sikola senyigirangako mu kikolwa kyonna ekyobuzi bw'emisango egyo sibbangako sitangako era siwambangako
He also denies evidence from the prosecution witnesses Frank Nyakairu, Barasati James and Winfred Nakatudde that he pleaded guilty in his statement. He told court that upon arrest, he was tortured by police officers at CMY.
Wechiwa mzinali mweyo interrogation room ngabasajja bankuba abasirikali nga bankuba ne baleeta ebipapula bisatu ne bangamba yabireeta mwalimu abasirikali nga bangi yajjayo kifayiro nga kirimu empapula za mirundi esatu nangamba sayininga 1 sayininga ekikye simanyi omusirikale eyali yembega nakuba oluyimu mutwe nangamba oyagalagana wano yitawo wamwe engeri gye baali bankubye emigo nga mingi nensayininga ku kisooka.
Despite the prosecution's attempts to question him over his defense, Kateregga Sadat sticked on his defense. Court will resume hearing on 15th June 2023. Meanwhile, High Court Criminal Division in Kampala has set 13th June 2023 to start the hearing of the case where Francis Onebe, businessman, is accused of murdering his wife, Mary Immaculate Blessing Asiro. Francis Onebe is accused with Bone Oriokot, a private security guard attached to Pentagon Security Limited, and prosecution alleges that in the month of June 2021, at Mawanga Zone LC1 in Munyonyo, Machindye Division in Kampala, they murdered Immaculate Asiro. The duo pleaded not guilty to all the alleged offences. The case will be presided over by Judge Mike Rubo, Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugudde, UBC News.
And we do apologize for the mix-up of the stories there, but that story was about the accused Kasolo Kompiliamo and the murder of Maria Najirinya, and driver has rejected the procedure the court registrar wants to use in summoning his witnesses to court. Now this follows court registrar Kasolo, who wished to pass an advertisement in the New Vision newspaper to summon his witnesses. But now let's go to that story where we had, which we had introduced earlier on, and that is the International Crimes Division of the High Court has ordered the Attorney General and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to file a response to the application in which members of Parliament Muhammad Segirinya and Aloysius Sewanyana are seeking to halt their trial on terrorism charges.
The International War Crimes Division Court in Kololo had set 12 June 2023 to proceed with the pre-trial hearing where legislators Muhammad Segirinya and Sewanyana, with other 4 accused persons, are facing offences of terrorism, murder, and attempted murder committed in the Greater Masaka district. However, legislators through their lawyer Musa Matovu told court that the respondents to the application, who include the Attorney General and the DPP, have not yet filed an affidavit in reply as regards their application of halting the trial proceedings.
Today, we've come to hear our application for stay of proceedings pending a determination of the constitutional petition that was filed at the beginning of this year. The state has not filed a notice of representation and an answer of the petition in the petition that we filed in the Constitutional Court.
The respondents, who were represented by State Attorney Richard Bidivumbuka, told court that they were not ready to proceed. Bidivumbuka indicated that the matter was coming up for motion, however asked court for more time to make a reply in the next court session.
Since the trial of this matter is based on the outcome of the aforesaid business application, we pray that this matter be adjourned on another date, my Lord. For mention, we so pray, my Lord.
The pre-trial judge Eskom Hanji directed the respondents to file an affidavit in reply not later than July 3, 2023. Komuhanji adjourned the matter to August 7, 2023. The legislators were present at court but did not speak to the media. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
Now, city lawyers under their umbrella, Lawyers for Equal Justice, have condemned Uganda Law Society for issuing a statement condemning the acts portrayed by Hamis Kigundu's supporters during the court proceedings at Supreme Court last week.
On Thursday last week, chaos ensued at the Supreme Court in Kampala as businessman Hamis Chigundu demanded to be heard in an application he filed in regard to his appeal pending before this court against Diamond Trust Bank Uganda and Kenya. The trial judge Elizabeth Musoke informed Chigundu's lawyer that there is no way the application can be heard when the judgment in the main appeal is ready and fixed for judgment on 13th June. Following the chaos, this saw the Judicial and the President Uganda Law Society Banda Undo issuing statements condemning such acts in court's premises, citing that courts of law are temples of justice that deserve respect. Certain lawyers under their umbrella Lawyers for Justice have condemned the manner under which these statements were issued by the Judicial and the Uganda Law Society.
That the right to be heard is non-derogable, and denying a party a right to be heard should be the last resort. If we are seen to be in such kind of grave injustice being occasioned to parties, what would the lower courts or the lower bench copy from such conduct or procedure that is being adopted? This precedent that would be set would totally be, in our view, an abrogation of the Constitution.
These lawyers further said that any court has an obligation to hear any matter before it, whether it has merit or not.
We respect and we don't in any way condone or tell litigants to attack court premises or attack any officers of court in their personal capacity, but we believe there is a need to address the injustice that was occasioned to a litigant. Now, if a litigant has a matter in any court and the litigant is not heard, in our view, in regard to that application, merely because there is a pending judgment, we believe that is an injustice that can never be cured by any form.
According to the statement issued by the Supreme Court Registrar, court will on 13th June 2023 deliver its judgment in the main appeal filed by businessman Hamis Chigundu against Diamond Trust Bank Uganda and Kenya.
However, we can advise one of the parties who may be aggrieved to move the East African Court of Justice for interpretation of that decision on whether there was utmost fairness in denying the applicant a right to be heard in regard to application number 51 of 2021, which had consequences in regard to the final verdict that is yet to be issued in the appeal.
The case is before Chief Justice Alfonso Bunyidolo, Faith Mondwa, Personage Tuhaise, and Justice Mike Chibita. Meanwhile, Uganda Old Magistrates Court has set 11th July 2023 to resume with the case of hateful speech against the judiciary driver Stanley Chisambira. Rebecca Nantongo, UBC News.
To Bukedea district now, where the three candidates contesting in the Bukedea LC5 by-elections have officially concluded their campaigns this Monday, the 12th of June 2023, as they all rest to the Wednesday 14th June 2023 polling date. For NRM camp, the final day has seen the party's Secretary General Richard Todwong, Head of Election Dr. Tanga Doi, and Minister Obote Ongalo jump on track to rally final support for the party candidate in the highly contested election. We have more in this story.
The NRM campaign program for Monday 12th June 2023 started from Chidongole sub-county in Bukedea district. Nga bulijjo bano bakulembeddwamu ssentebe w'ekibiina ki NRM mu Eastern Uganda, retired Captain Mike Mukula, as he is the Vice Chairperson NRM for Eastern Uganda. Retired Captain Mike Mukula led the opening procession. Mukula was joined by the Secretary General NRM, Richard Todwong.
I'm here to assure you that Honorable Anita Among will continue being the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda. It has brought unity in government, unity in Parliament, and cohesion among members of Parliament. And this vote that we have come for is very important.
Present were a section of members of Parliament and lower level leaders.
Museveni oye! Anita oye! Todwong oye! wanted to see you. We are one. We have come to stand with her. Yeah? Let us support her. Let us come and vote on Wednesday.
And I have come to look for votes. I am here to request for votes.
According you. Ndikuba saba zena lwokusatu ndikwakuba mu igombola lino tiyita kakaluluka ndikahugahugane.
Other members from the Secretariat included Dr. Tang Odoi and Emmanuel Lumaladombo.
Mwewala okweza olwokusatu bukyeire akalulu mwawa nani ako NRM. You under the trees there. Anybody who wants to intimidate us as NRM, on Wednesday I'm in charge. Secretary General will go back to Kampala. I will handle those people here.
Minister Ongaro Obote and Peter Ogon were also among the campaign drivers.
Please, on Wednesday, I got a bong. Before I even have my supper, I want a call from Mary that I had Unosakiro.
For Captain Mike Mkula, is much convinced that the party will bag victory come Wednesday, 14th June 2023.
We cannot allow people who have no votes try to intimidate the women, the youth, and the old people who want to vote NRM. We shall not allow that.
I am actually exceptionally proud to empower women to join into that seat. You know, women are performers. At that level, they will deliver.
What I could tell people of Bukedea that we are winning the elections as NRM party.
I want to see more women take leadership in this country. So therefore, to crown it all, the National Resistance Movement is going to win these elections hands down. And I want to assure you that the cohesion that we have been looking for in Bukedea has been achieved. We have collectively worked very hard together, and I want to assure you that the guidance of General Museveni has clearly percolated to the grassroots.
The Yellow Camp ended its campaign from Marera sub-county. Campaigns from Bukedea District LC5 by-elections have officially ended this Monday, and now what awaits the free candidates is to prepare on how they will guard against what they all term as victory come Wednesday, 14th June 2023, which is the polling date. Robert Onyango and Henry Okrut for UBC News in Bukedea District.
Now, the executive director of Uganda National Roads Authority, Yonra Allen Kajina, has appended her signature for the rehabilitation works of Matuga Semuto Kapeka Road, measuring 41 kilometers. The contract between Uganda government and Abeka Technical Services Limited, a local company, is to cost a government 217 billion Ugandan shillings.
UNRA has awarded a contract for the rehabilitation of Matuga Semuto Kapeka Road that covers 41 kilometers to the local contractor Abeka Technical Services Limited, and they will commence in August this year.
Government of Uganda, the Minister of Works, and UNRA as the supervising agency, I hand you over Mr. Abeka.
The 41-kilometer Matuga Semuto Kapeka Road runs through Wakiso, Luweero and Nakaseke districts. The executive director, UNRA Allen Kajina, who signed the contract, says this project marks a significant milestone in the ongoing efforts to enhance the transportation infrastructure.
As we all know, this road has served a rapidly growing economic area due to the increased urbanization, agricultural and industrial activities. As such, the traffic has tremendously increased, not only in number but also in weight. Particularly to note is the Kapeka Lioshen Industrial Park.
The Minister of Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, has urged the community leaders to be involved in this project.
They should not look at it and say, no, these are your projects. Make sure that as the overseers, I'm also appealing to members of parliament, that whenever you're in the constituency, please make an effort to see what the progress, what is going on. But also talk to your people. Sometimes these contractors get a big challenge because people steal materials. They connive with operators of machines during the day. Some of the machines, like the bulldozers and what, they consume less fuel, but at night they consume more fuel.
The project also includes the upgrading of 5 kilometers of town roads, including the Semutochi Jaguzo Secondary School. The carriageway will be widened to a 3.5 meters lane shoulders with the asphalt concrete wearing course. Ivan Juko, Patrick Mugera for UBC.
Kato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine. At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Welcome back. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. As the Ugandan government approaches the National Budget Day on June the 15th, 2023, corruption and government wastage are in the spotlight. Now, despite an overall budget increase, a reduction in the discretionary resource envelope raises concerns on allocations to health sector. Yet the growing burden of interest payments and public debt servicing highlights the substantial portion of the budget dedicated to debt management.
Civil society is voicing apprehension regarding corruption.
This corruption we are talking about, most of the people who are drinking have stolen that money and they are drinking it at night, buying, of course, our beers and other alcoholic drinks. I don't think that it makes any economic sense.
And a report by the Inspectorate of Government reveals that Uganda loses 614 billion shillings to corruption in procurement, impacting the government's capacity to fund its key budgetary requirements.
The corruption at local government is making it difficult for that money, almost $1 trillion shillings, to be released to you, local government, so that you can improve service delivery because of corruption.
This leakage undermines key expenditure priorities such as health and education.
Right now, we have implemented what we call electronic government procurement. We are going to stamp out corruption related to procurement, and it is the biggest challenge we are having in the country now. Big chunks of money lost in procurement related corruption. When I was in Washington last week, I received very heartwarming feedback from the international institutions like the World Bank, recognizing that they have assessed, evaluated our EGP, our electronic government procurement system, and it is the best in the region. And they're saying we are leading in the region. And as World Bank, they are now ready also to get their projects on our system.
Currently, Uganda's healthcare expenditure is insufficient, as the country spends less than $20 per capita annually.
5 trillion, that's where the Minister of Health should be. If we are taking $30 per head for the 45 million, Minister of Health budget should be 5 trillion.
Another area of concern is the delayed implementation of government ministries, departments, and agencies' rationalization.
As a code, we did a study. We are trying to look for money to increase financing for local governments. And we discovered that over 1.3 trillion shillings is always remains at the center in MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies. And the PSST wrote that actually that money is going to go to the local government.
Effective project monitoring, reduced borrowing, and reviewing tax incentives for investors are some of the key suggestions to curb resource leakages conclusively. Uganda's budget reading coincides with other East African Community member countries, including Kenya, Tanzania, South Sudan, and Rwanda. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News.
Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, Sarah Mateke, has urged Ugandans to embrace the parish development model to move to subsistence economy. Mateke made the remarks during celebrations to mark Child Labour Day here in Kampala. The minister says parents will be able to look after their children.
As 39 of the households graduate from subsistence to producing for the markets, this will change the question from the base module, create productive jobs and increase incomes at household level. The Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, Sarah Mateke, says parents will be able to look after their children.
To producing for the market. The changes the parish development model will bring will create productive jobs and increase incomes at the household level. With this initiative, parents will be able to look after their children.
Government continues to invest heavily in education, infrastructure and teacher training and culture development, and also implement various policies and programs aimed at increasing access to education.
With the production of goods and services that are central to generation of household incomes, peace and stability has partly contributed to the reduction in the households in subsistence economy that now stands at 39%, as well as reduced the proportion of poor persons from 33.8% in 1999-2000.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, David Agri, says child labour is the most visible problem caused by and perpetuates poverty and deprives children of education skills and other opportunities.
In rural areas, 42%, compared to urban areas, 32%. And of these, 10.4 million children were working in an equal share of 6 in 10 by sex, perpetuated by family members. It holds back economic growth of entire countries and can be linked to rising inequality in many parts of the world. It is a threat to social cohesion.
This year's theme is social justice for all and child labour. The theme is relevant as it calls for the end of child labour. Diano Olweny Peters, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Let's have a look now at how the shilling fared today against selected regional and international currencies in our financial markets report.
The week starts off with an appreciative trend compared to last week's performance to open at 3,716.71 buying and 3,726.71 selling, from 3,735.46 buying and 3,745.46 selling respectively. Midday recorded an upward trend to see the shilling appreciate to 3,715.50 buying and 3,725.50 selling. At close of business, the shilling depreciated to 3,718.46 buying and 3,728.46 selling against the dollar. The shilling further depreciated against the pound to register a 4,676.70 mark buying and 4,689.28 selling. The shilling gained ground against the euro to trade at 3,998.08 buying and 4,008.84 selling. The Tanzanian shilling remained flat at 1.56 buying and selling respectively. The Kenyan shilling declined by 0.0018% against the shilling, and the South African rand traded at 198.73 and 199.26 buying and selling respectively, a depreciative trend against the shilling. For UBC News, I'm Patricia Lukomampa.
Sports news now, and Uganda Special Olympics team has been flagged off to Germany for the Special Olympics World Games due on the 17th of this month. The team of 22 players will compete in 4 disciplines, including athletics, swimming, tennis and football. The National Council for Sports facilitated the team with all air tickets. On arrival, the host city has organized programs for all children with special needs before the games start.
On behalf of the National Council of Sports and on behalf of the entire Ministry of Sport,
the World Games this year are in Berlin, so we expect our teams to win. You've had them assuring us that they are ready to win, and if they don't win, they'll be brave in the attempt. We have 20 athletes composed of swimmers, table tennis players, footballers, runners. So we are excited. We know they are going to kill it.
Preparations, as we started our journey in Gulu last year, to pick the team that will represent Uganda. This was the team that was picked in Gulu. When we came back from Gulu, yes, the teams started training in their respective centers where they come from and respective districts. Then after like a week back, that's when we collected them in one center to come and do a camp.
Feni is more than ready this time because one, he was discovered by the Special Olympics team and they helped grow him to who he is. Then later on, he was identified by the Swimming Federation under Silver Fin team. So he has been training under the Silver Fin team. And now he's ready for the Special Olympics. And he'll be participating in the 50 meters freestyle and 50 meters breaststroke.
My aim is to win. If I don't win, let me try my level best. I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm joyful. I don't know how to expose my feelings to you.
On behalf of the
And that sports story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Kijjanangoma, wishing you a blessed night.